Whenever you hit, Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our Monday night training. First of all, I want to remind everyone we have a great promotion coming out tomorrow. Make sure you have your alarm set. Make sure you have your messages ready. Make sure you have your list ready for people you're sending out to. If you've not started working on that, make sure you start working on that when we get finished with this training, because we want to hit the ground running with this promotion. Not only is it limited time, it's limited time while supplies last. We all know how quick that can go. I mean, that can go in a few hours. It may go for a few days. We just don't know. So we need to all be prepared to hit the ground running and start promoting this and start helping people get signed up as soon as this drops tomorrow. So wanted to remind everyone of that before we started training. So that would be in the forethought of your mind. So when we get off here, it's time to get to work on that. So moving on into training, I'm going to be talking about the importance of running partners. And I'm going to share a little story with you. Many of y'all probably don't know this and probably don't believe it. I used to run quite a bit years ago. Nothing crazy, no marathons or half marathons or anything like that. But when I was on the police department, to stay in shape, and because we had to do a qualification with our physical fitness test, for me, it was twice a year. I wanted to make sure that I stayed in shape and didn't struggle any. So I would always run on the treadmill on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, usually about 2 miles. Our test was 1.5 miles, so I always did about 2 miles, just to go a little bit over, and ran enough just kind of keep myself in shape. That was it. Nothing competitive. Never ran any even 5Ks or 10Ks or anything like that. But my running time was always the same time, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And a friend of mine who worked for the Charleston Police Department, but then got hired on with the Secret Service, his running time and days were the same as mine. So he would come in and was in the locker room changing, and he would always run outside. And except for if it's nasty weather, he'd be on the treadmill and would be running and talking. And he said, you ought to go running outside with me. Well, if you know how I'm built, I'm short and I am more top heavy, and I do not have a runner's build. Let me just say this. My friend had a runner's build. He was tall and lanky, and he just, you think of a runner, that's what he looked like. So I'm like, no, that's okay. I enjoy running on the treadmill, and I don't run that far. Just kind of do it just to kind of stay in shape and stuff. And so I kind of blew him off. He said, okay, if you change your mind, let me know. So some time went on, maybe another week or so. He was back in the gym, running on the treadmill again. He said, the next nice day, he goes, I'd like for you to go outside and running with me. I think you'd really enjoy running outside instead of running on the treadmill. So I came up with some other excuse, kind of blew him off. And about the third time, and this was a nice day, and we was in the locker room changing, and he goes, okay. He said, I run with you beside of you on the treadmill. He goes, you run good. He said, why are you not running with me? He started taking it personal. And I said, okay, I'm going to be honest with you. I said, you run faster than I do. You run further than I do. You're used to running outside. And if you don't know anything about West Virginia, we are not called the Mountain State for no reason. There is no flat running land hardly at all in West Virginia. So I know he's running up and down hills, and on the treadmill, I may be like at a 1% incline. And so I said, I just don't feel that I could run with you. I just didn't believe that I could keep up with, which I knew I couldn't keep up with him. And he said, here's the thing. He goes, I'd like to have somebody to run with. I'd like for it to be you. He said, we'll set your pace, and we'll just go out and run 1.5 miles or something like that. And we went and we ran. We'd always run on Mondays. Mondays and Fridays, we'd run a cemetery which was kind of rolling hills. There's nothing. There was a few steep hills, but mostly just rolling. And so we did that on Mondays, 1.5 miles, and then we did about a 3 to 3.5 mile run on Friday. But we didn't build up to that, or I didn't build up to that for a little bit. But when we went out and ran that 1.5 miles, I'm a pretty competitive person. I know he was too. So I said, I don't want to hold you back. I said, you take off running, and I'll do my best to keep up. So needless to say, I did not keep up very well. It was a struggle. And we ran that for a few times. We continued to run, but after a few times, I was able to at least keep him in sight. And we picked up running on Wednesdays. We'd either go down to the football field close to us, we'd run the bleachers, or we'd run sprints. So we'd get on the football field and we'd run like kind of shuttle sprints. We'd run, I don't know, sprint 10 yards, jog back 10, sprint 20 yards, jog back 20. We just keep doing that backwards and forwards. So we broke up our running, and then, like I said, our Fridays, we build up to longer runs. So we ran together for quite some time. And what happened was I was able to keep on the 1.5 mile run, or short run. I was able to come in right behind him. I was never able to pass him up on that 1.5 mile run. I got close a few times, but was never able to do it. And then on our sprint days, just because he was longer legged than I was, and my legs could not have the turnover to keep up with his stride. So he always beat me there. And then we'd run the bleachers, and we were pretty much side by side on the bleachers. I kept up with him when we'd run the bleachers. Well, when we ran the 3 to 3.5 mile, whatever it was, on Fridays, there in the beginning, it was like it was with the short distance. He would leave me, and sometimes I'd see a glimpse of him, sometimes I wouldn't. But the more we ran that, the better my endurance got, the better my strength got on running. And the last probably not even 1/4 mile of that, I started passing him. Now, it took a little while, but I started passing him. And then it became a big challenge for him because, like I said, he was super competitive. So that last, what was maybe just not even a 1/4 mile, was challenging for both of us to see who would finish first. And then I would pick up my speed a lot sooner before we finished. And then it just kept on backing up to where I think about the last mile, I felt like we was both almost at a dead sprint trying to see who would finish first. But here's some things that I learned while I was doing this is, one, I had a guy good friend of mine, who believed that I could do something that I couldn't. And he asked me multiple times, hey, come run with me, come join me. And I didn't believe in myself, but he did. He believed that because he saw what I was doing, he saw that I was willing to put in the effort and running on the treadmill. He felt like I would make a good running partner for him because he saw what I was doing on the treadmill, and he knew that I could transfer that over into going outside and running. So the first thing was I had someone who believed in me. And that's what a good running partner will do. They believe in you. The second thing that I noticed, and this is something I didn't talk about when sharing the story, was we made a commitment to one another. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at, I want to say it was around 11 a.m., we always met and we ran. Now, sometimes just because I was a police officer and he worked for Secret Service, our schedules didn't always match up and we couldn't always meet. But I would say a good 75 to 80% of the time, we ran together. So we made that commitment to each other that we were going to meet at that time. And we would usually, 30 minutes before, one of us was sending a message to the other. So we were saying, what's your schedule look like? Are we meeting today? And if it was maybe me 30 minutes earlier thinking, gosh, I don't feel like running today. I don't feel like doing this. I'm tired. I'm whatever. My mind's not in it. But that message or phone call from him was like a wake-up call. It's like, okay, I made this commitment to him that I'm going to be there. If he's going to be there, I'm going to be there. I don't have, if I'm not busy working on something, then I don't have an excuse. So that's another thing. A good running partner will help you stay committed to them. The next thing is we never gave up on each other. He never gave up on me. Especially in the beginning when he saw that I was struggling in keeping up, and especially that long run in the beginning where it was really hard for me to push myself, he never gave up on me. And there would be times that if I got too far ahead, he would actually jog back and jog with me for a little bit and help me pick up my pace. And that was something that is very unique. If you have a running partner that comes back and picks you up because they see that you're struggling, that's good. So you get a running partner that is never going to let you give up, and you make sure you never give up on them. Another thing that he did or we did for each other is, as you heard in the part of the story, we pushed each other. A good running partner will push you. And if you're a good running partner to them, you will push them. And another thing that I didn't think of until after we'd ran for a while is to stop and think about how much I had improved in running. And even though he was a more long distance runner than I was, a faster runner than I was in the beginning, I was still able to push him, and I was still able to help him improve as well. So when you're committed to a running partner, when you're picking out your running partner and who you want it to be, I want you to think about these things. I want you to think about the belief you have in them and the belief they have in you. Because when nothing else is going right, when you have someone that believes in you and is able to be committed to you and help push you and never gives up, then what's going to happen is you and them together are going to grow and you're going to improve. There's no way that you cannot improve if you don't have that believability in each other, the commitment, the push, and the never giving up. Now, let me go back and talk to you about days that we wouldn't run together. Now, him and I really never talked about it, but I know that on days that he was out of town working somewhere else or was busy on a case and he couldn't show up, then I'd go out and run by myself. But those days, I would not run as fast, and sometimes I would not run as far. And that's because I did not have my running partner with me. I mean, I was still committed to go out and run, but it was not the same. So know the difference in having a running partner and not having a running partner, because there is a difference. If your running partner will make sure that you're keeping a good pace and that you're going the distance. And part two of this story, being in Secret Service, guess what? They don't stay in the same area for their whole career. So he left. He moved to, I think, Texas, I think it was at that time. He's in Texas now. Anyways, he moved. And so ran by myself for a while. And the supervisor I was working for, him and a group of guys would get together and they would run. They ran pretty much every day, I think. And he got with me. He goes, "Why are you not running with us?" And I said, "Well, I don't know." I said, "You guys, kind of run, do your own thing." And he said, "Well, you should come run with us." I was like, "No, that's okay. I'm fine." Well, once again, I didn't have the believability because they were all pretty much runners. There was like 4 or 5 of them, and I think all of them except for maybe one was really good runners, and they ran every day. They ran a lot more hills than we did. They ran longer distance. They would run about 5 to 6 miles most of the time, and I was only running like 3 to 3.5. So maybe about half of what they were running was my longest run. So I was like, listen, I I'm not where you guys are at. That's okay. I appreciate it. He's like, just come out and run with us. Run as far as you can. Do what you want, and just see how it goes. Well, what I learned was once you get over about 3 or 4 miles of running, the next few miles you get in that runner's high, and the next few miles are almost cruise control. And I didn't realize that because I never pushed myself past that to see what I could do. My friend Tommy and I, we just never ran that far of a distance. So got with them and started running farther, started running up hills, ran a lot more days. And once again, I found a running partner. What was great was I found more than one. And it's good to have more than one running partner. I didn't realize that when Tommy and I were running together, neither one of us thought about, grabbing more people into the group and asking if they wanted to run. We just ran. But what I realized when I was running with the group was if someone was busy, one or two of them was busy, or maybe on vacation or whatever it was, sick that day, guess what? I had other people to run with. So it's good to have multiple running partners because you're going to always have someone, even if someone's having, on vacation, like I said, sick, I'd always have someone to run with. So make sure when you're looking for a running partner, make sure you're looking for running partners. And this is why myself, Melissa, Christy, Jan, and Greg have partnered up as running partners together, because we have a group that, let's say one of us needs help with something and the other one has something going on, we can't jump in and help. Well, guess what? One of us can. One of us is always available to run with the others. Another thing I learned was don't prejudge who your running partners are. And I'm just going to say this directly. Don't prejudge who your business people are. Talk to business about everybody. Talk to business about everybody. Because, if Tommy would have prejudged me, I would not have become a better runner, a faster runner. I would not have learned to enjoy it as much, because let me tell you, I don't know if anybody's ran on a treadmill compared to running outside, but I can tell you running on a treadmill is boring. And on days that it was raining and nasty outside, I hated getting on that treadmill. After I'd ran outside, enjoyed being outside running, I did it because we'd committed to Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, but it was not as fun. And we always ran, we said we'd run during the 3 H's, oh gosh, I can't remember what they are now. Hot, humid, and something. I don't know. We would run no matter how hot it was. Now in the wintertime, we did have some ground rules that if it was below freezing, or if it was snow and ice on the ground, we wouldn't run just for safety purposes. But it didn't matter. We ran year round. But if he would have prejudged me, I would not have been where I was at with being able to run. And same thing with your business partners and people you want to bring in the business, or maybe you don't think they'd be good at the business, or you don't want to talk to them about the business. You have no idea. And just like me with Tommy, in the long run, they may pass you up. You may bring a running partner in that will pass you up. And hey, how great is that? How great would that be for you to bring someone in? You mentor them, you train them, you run with them, you show them what you have to train them and show them. And then as time goes on, they become better than you. They become faster than you. They can go the distance more than you. And to me, that's what this is all about, is bringing people in and mentoring them and helping them to where they outgrow you. Now, I know there's some people in the company that get jealous when the downline outgrows them, but for those people, they don't get the big picture. That's my thought on it. They just don't get the big picture. That's just an ego and selfish thought, is when you have someone in your downline that outgrows you, and you're like, bummed about it. I don't know why in the world you'd be bummed about somebody making you a crap ton of money. But guys, that's what I want to talk to you about, is making sure that you are talking to everybody about being a running partner, working with them, running with them, staying committed, because when you make that commitment to them, things change. Because now it's not just about you, it's about your running partner. It's about being there for them. It's about helping them. It's about pushing them. It's about helping them improve. And you can go much further with a running partner than you can by yourself. All right, guys, that's it for me tonight. Is there anyone who has any questions? Anyone wants to unmute? Jan, Greg, Melissa, Christy, have at it.
Well, first I do. What Stacy's so right. And when you go through hard times, the last couple of months for our family have been really, really hard. And I don't know how in the world that I would have survived or kept my business running without Jan and Greg and Stacy and Christy and Vicky Bronner and Rhonda and the people on my team that just stepped up. And it's just every day they're just like, what do you need? What do you need? What do you need? And I mean, honestly, it's just, and Bria, I can't forget Bria. I mean, it's just, you have to have those people. But not only that, not only are they there for you when things are hard, but that it's more fun to have people when you call. And I don't think there's a day that goes by that Stacy and I are not on the phone. Where are your points? Where are your points? Where are your points? Because I'm very competitive, and so is he. So we always stay neck and neck. And it's just same thing with Jan and Greg and I, and Jan and Cotton, bless her heart. I just feel like I failed her for the past couple of weeks, because we talk every single day at 8:30 in the morning, my time, 7:30 her time, every single day. And my day, it's just like, when I don't pray, or when I don't, read my Bible, it's just like my day is not fulfilled, or my day just doesn't go right. It's the same thing talking to Jan. I need to talk to her every morning. I mean, it's just like I got to get my fix. Find those people who are just in your corner and uplift you. And it's just like you become like the 5 people you surround yourself with. And it's not just one person. Find those multiple people who will lift you up and pour that positivity into you and encourage you and edify you and give you those things that you need. Stacy, this was a great, great training. And I do have to, I am going to call you out, because you can't talk to business about people. You do talk to everybody about business. I just, I don't know if anybody else got that, but I do. I just say it. But it was a great training, and you got to find your people, find your tribe, and love them hard. So great.
All right. Anyone else? All right. If not, Melissa.
I thought it was awesome, Stace.
Thank you.
And so, number one, the first thing that came to mind when you finished up your 4 points was iron sharpens iron. I heard that phrase for many, many years. And when I first got into coaching, that was one of the phrases that Bo Schembechler used when I went to a coach's clinic. And I was like, I didn't really understand it at that point until I started surrounding myself with people that I felt like I needed to learn from, even though I knew I was pretty good in that field, right? And so we just adopted that when we moved into this industry for sure, because surrounding ourselves with all y'all and finding out right away that we can build our business to a certain level on our own, but you need a team and those running partners, just like you talked about, and then finding people that will challenge you. I love that. I absolutely love it. Great job.
I'm gonna add in, and I have to talk on his speaker, but you've heard the saying that if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. You want to go find other people that are going to give you ideas and help challenge you. And exactly what Stacy said, when you're challenging yourself, you're going to improve, and so a lot of people, we're competitive, and everybody's kind of said that, but winners are going to be competitive. You want to do well, and you want somebody that's going to challenge you and that you're going to be chasing after or is going to be pushing you. And I know that that's the thing with, when Melissa and I get on every morning, it's kind of like that runner's high. We're to that point now where we look forward to that because we know there's going to be some tidbit that's going to help our business and help our team grow and do better. And so, so find your tribe, find your runners, and don't be afraid to reach out and find, if it's somebody that you're scared to talk to, that's probably who you need to be asking to be your running partner.
Totally agree with that. Totally agree. Christy, you want to say anything before I turn over to Melissa?
No, that was a great training, Stace. Great points. I am just grateful for my running partners. So thanks, you guys.
Thank you, Christy. All right, Melissa, I'm going to turn it over to you to let you close us out tonight.
All right, I'm going to declare Ephesians 3:20 over all of you. God is going to do exceedingly and abundantly more than we can think or ask. Because we honor him, his blessings are going to chase us down and overtake us. You are in the right place at the right time, and I declare a boldness to rise up in each one of you. God is going to open supernatural doors. People are going to seek us out, and we're going to rise in the ranks because we give him the honor and glory for it all. Love you guys.
Thank you all. Y'all have a great night. Don't forget about the promo tomorrow.
Yeah.